Okay, so let's get things moving forward. How's everybody? All good? Word? Okay, so if by any chance I start coughing like I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna die, okay? So I'm just coughing, okay? But I'm a bit under the weather here. Okay, week 5. Things will start to pick up. Things will start to get faster. A lot of stuff will come out today. I'm gonna most likely be looking at some of you, and you're gonna be staring at the screen here, asking what is happening. Okay, but we're gonna get through it. The next 5 weeks, we're gonna be going through this example, this application called Sports Store. So we're gonna be going through the Sports Store. It's quite intensive, quite an intense 5 weeks. A lot of content. Each week you're gonna go through a different chapter. So today you're gonna do chapter 8, then chapter 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 next weeks. Before I get to that, let me mention something that I wanted to share with you. Remember the survey that you have done, just an informal survey, the stop, start, continue survey that I asked you to do last class or the class before. I think it was last class. I want to share the results. So just want you to see the most common things that I came across, the results, so that we know what we can do, what we cannot do, and how we move forward, okay? So, stop. Number 1. Guess what? I think I'll change this to surprise group presentation, because it was a surprise. You were not expecting. Now, we're going to have another one, a group presentation, okay? But at least you know up front. At least you know that, hey, that day, and it's the last class. But you're going to have time to get ready for that. But surprise group presentations, we're not going to have surprise group presentations anymore, okay? Long classes. What should I say about that? What should we do about that? Let's leave at 9:30. I don't know if we can do anything about that though, because we have so much to cover, so much to go through. But I'm gonna pace things out in a way that, at least from a content perspective, it's not. And you're gonna see. We're gonna start that today. From a content perspective, it's not overwhelming. Because, again, we're going to be splitting a lot of our efforts, but I'll go through that a little bit later. So I don't really think that we can do anything about that. I'm just going to try not to make you, try to structure in a way that we use most of our energy at the beginning of the class, and then the second half, as we have lower energy, let's try not to go and do too much high-level stuff. So, again, I'll try to divide the content in a way that in the second part of the class, we are not too intense, let's put it this way. But I don't know if there is much to do there. A few other things, those were one-offs. Countdown. I love the countdowns, but some people want me to stop that. Well, I'm not stopping that. I like the countdowns because I think it gives us a good pace, and a good idea of, okay, we have 5 more minutes to do this, and then we move on. I think it's, at least for me, it's a way to organize. It's not a way to put pressure, okay? It's not about putting pressures. It's really about keeping us, in schedule. In schedule. I mean, we have 5 minutes for a break. Okay, break is done. You know how long it will take, so it's there. And questions for bonus. Do we still want to keep bonus going? Yep. What else aside of questions that I should ask you to provide as the return of your bonus? I mean, I think questions are pretty a low barrier. It's just a way for you, for you to jog your memory, your perception there, and see what is it that I'm understanding, what is it that I'm not understanding here. Even if you don't have a very concrete question to ask, but maybe you want more clarification about the point. That's fine as well. I'd like to know more about this point. That's fine too. Okay? Stop. Okay. Start. More examples, more hands-on, more exercises. That was massive. I mean, a lot of people mentioned that. And I agree. I think that we should have more of that. And actually, this will be a very intense hands-on exercise. The thing with MVC is that even if we are dealing with a small, I mean, there's nothing small with MVC. Anything that we do with MVC, it will require you to go through the basic setup steps. So again, there is nothing very small. Now, I'm thinking of ways of how I can provide some initial projects that you can just download, and then you can execute you can perform some tasks on it. So you can get that going. Maybe those will be exercise examples that you're going to do on your own. Some people said, even if I don't cover the exercise, but give us some exercise so we can try at home. We can go deeper if we want to. I get it. I'll see what I can do about that. But I agree with that one. Starting bits. Okay, I started already, but the supply dried out. In our next test, we're going to have some bits just to sweet the test a little bit. Let's put it this way. And a few more. Fixing Visual Studio. Okay, so this is A315, the classroom. So I have already reported, hopefully, all workstations that are given a hard time with Visual Studio. The ones that when you ask for a new project, it doesn't show the new project. If you come across any other workstations that are problematic, let me know. I'll add to the list, and because I have to report those workstations so IT personnel can come in and do their fix. Okay? So let me know. And I'm interested in the ones that you ask for a new project and nothing shows up. You have 0 projects there showing up. Okay? But I have already reported for this class here, for this classroom. Continue. Bonus and flipped class. So majority of you really like the bonus, the flipped class. Flipped class in the sense that I give you, I ask you to go through 3-4 videos ahead of the class so you are more or less ready for what's coming up. And then you do the bonus on that. So I'll continue doing that. I think it works. It gives you a baseline when you come to class for new content. The new content will not be starting from scratch. You have a base knowledge there. Okay. Videos, both the recordings and the code walkthroughs. So a lot of you said that should be continuing, and I'll be continuing with that. And Padlet, the way we have been using Padlet and Nearpod as well for quizzes. Some of you said that these are good things to continue being used, and I'll continue with that. Speaking about Padlet, I'll have it open. And okay, let's see. Yes, I'll try to feel better. Thank you for that. Now, I'll tell you, this most likely will continue for a few weeks. I'll be coughing for a few weeks. I know how I am. Is it possible for you to extend assignment 1 to Sunday night, please? Serious request. No. No, because we have already an agreement. You had 3 weeks to work on that, more than enough time. And so, submit whenever you can. And let's see. Don't over worry about the deadline. Just do what you need to do, get it done, and upload it. Okay? I don't even. What was our deal? I mean, anyone remembers the deal that we had with assignments here? Anyone? Me neither. But I'll check my records. I'll check my records and I'll know. Okay, so again, just move forward, keep doing your thing there, upload wherever you can. The folder will stay open, but I know who submitted afterwards, submitted before. I know that, okay? So, but do your thing there. Spend a palette of requests, okay. Which ASP.NET Core version do we want for assignment? Okay, so we are always using 2.1. 2.1 videos, yes, I know videos, all of them, they refer to 2.0. We are using 2.1, that's it. There will be some differences here and there, but 2.1 is the one, okay? Great. That's about it, yep. Okay, we're gonna have an opportunity here to talk about assignment 1 if you want me to have a look at something, okay? Use the time, we're gonna have some time to do some individual work. So during that time, ask me to come by and I will have a look if you have any questions about assignment 1. Okay. So that's it about the stop, start, continuing. Let me know if you have any questions there with that. Otherwise, we can just move forward. Move forward with our main contents of the day, of the evening. Week number 5, MVC. So, let me tell you this. I see this course as having 3 phases. We had our first phase, which we cover. What was that first example that we went through? The first 2 classes, party invites. So we had party invites, 2 classes. Then we had the C# essentials, which we cover some of the actually more advanced aspects of C# that we're going to be using throughout the course. We covered that in one class, and then the following one we spoke about Razor. So these 4 initial classes, this is what I would call our first phase. The second phase we're starting today. Second phase is all about this sports store application that you're going to be going through the next 5 weeks. So each week we're going to be covering 1 chapter of the book. Today is about chapter 8. And again, we're going to go 5 more weeks with that example. The good thing is that all videos that going through that example, they are all done, and I'll be letting you know as we go along for the next videos, and the next set, and the next, and it goes like that. So now, here's the thing. I will not be here in front of you demonstrating each line of code of that sports store, because you would need 6 hours, 7 hours for us to do that. And that's not my goal here. I don't want to be here 4 hours straight talking. You don't want to be here 4 hours straight hearing me, listening to me talking. It's not the goal. You are here to learn, and there are multiple ways of learning. Not only me blast information, but the way we do things. Okay? So you do things on your own. I help on some parts. So for each of the chapters, I have selected 2 or 3 topics that are really, really important for that chapter. The videos are covering every single line of code there. But for each chapter, there are 2 or 3 main aspects, concepts that I want to talk about. I want to be here talking about them, explaining them. And my goal is for you to live each one of those next 5 weeks is to knowing about those points, those topics. I'm not going to expect that you know review every single line of code for each one of those chapters. I don't expect that, okay? Because it is a lot. But here's the thing. If you want to go and explore each line of code, you can. And I'm here to support you. If you want to be here just following the 3 main points, 2 or 3 main points of the chapter that I'll be explaining, that's okay as well. I can promise that I will only be asking for things on the assignments, on the tests, that I'll be the things that I'm here talking about them, okay? That I want to focus about them. More about that as we go through. I'll be talking more my approach as we go through this. But, so as we start in our first phase, and as you had a bit of a preview on what is coming today via the initial 4 videos, I'd like to ask you a question. What is it that you expect for today? What are your expectations of today? Work with database. Anybody else? Database.
More dynamic.
Two. No, sorry. I didn't catch what you said.
Make the page more dynamic.
Make the page more dynamic with dynamic information, dynamic data. Yeah. Okay. Good. And
We're changing the URL.
change the URL. Okay. Okay. Good. Change the URL. Okay. So there's a bit of everything. So we're going to be really focused on number 1 here. It's the database. Database, repository, entity framework. That's the number 1. Now, for the beginning of the week, I had planned to go through routing, which is what you just mentioned there. A few more concepts about routing and views as well. However, based on my experience this week, we have only been able to cover well the database part, which is okay, because there are the 2 topics I'll push to next class. That's fine. We're gonna be okay. But I really want us to leave here today having a good grasp of the database, of the different elements, because there's not just database. It's database, repository. We're going to be talking about interfaces. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. There are a lot of moving parts here today. And again, for some of you, it will feel a bit overwhelming. For some of you, that will be fine. Again, we're gonna get through that, okay? Perfect, okay. So, the first 3 points here, it's all about databases and data. Understanding data repository, working with databases, and working with entity framework. This is the framework that we're going to be able to access our databases, okay? And then those are the other 2 topics that we'll not be able to get to them, but that's fine. We're going to push that to next class. They are smaller topics as compared to this. Very important. This is so key, and so many students, they get stuck with that part. So you're gonna be creating database, creating tables today, accessing them. So again, it will be intense, but we'll do it. Okay, that old diagram that I said, you're gonna be tired of looking at this. I'll always bring this up because then we have the big picture, and after that, we're gonna see where are we gonna focus on. For instance, for today, we're gonna be focusing there, in our model. We're gonna be focusing in database and EF. EF from entity framework, okay? So database, entity framework, that's where we will be, what we will be focusing today. Model, we're going to be talking a lot about model. Now, we cannot just talk about model in isolation. Model is talking to the controller. The only part of the system that the model talks to is the controller. So you're gonna get a little slice here from the controller, but the focus will be really in the model part. I was gonna attempt to cover routing as well, but this will be pushed for the next class. That's fine. And we will be talking about partial views too. Partial view is just a way to reuse a certain aspect of a view that you can reuse on multiple views. Okay, but not very complex. Again, we're gonna push this forward. I really want to nail this down today with you. As I mentioned, this is chapter 8. It's great if you have the book, the hard copy, or the digital version. With that, you have also access to the videos. It is optional. You have the videos there as well, but it's a good source to have. I'll be mentioning going forward which chapter we are in at this point in time. Keep the questions that you have submitted for today, keep them close by. Make sure that the ones that are related to data access, to repositories, make sure that you ask them. Make sure that you clarify them. Okay? Don't go back. Don't hold back your questions, your doubts there. I cannot open each one and address each one individually as a class, but we can address them as we go through. As you see that, okay, this is really important and he's not addressing this, let me ask. And ask anonymously. I mean, you can just post on Padlet. Okay? Okay. Database, entity framework, and repositories. So, what is the name of the repository that you have created for steps 1, 2, 3, 4? What is the name? iProduct repository is the interface. That's correct. We have created the iProduct repository. In which concrete repository have we created? That's iProduct repository that inherits from iProduct repository. Which concrete one did we create? What is the name? In the first videos of the sports store, what is the name of the repository? We have the interface, but we have a concrete one. What is the name? Fake repository. So fake product repository. That's the concrete one that we have created there. Okay? So, as I said, this is where we're going to focus. Now, the next slides, what I'll be doing is I will be zooming in this aspect, this part of our big diagram, okay? I'm going to zoom in this area here. So we have our little controller here. This is not our focus, but we have our big model here, okay? So we're going to start to draw some elements to this model. When you think about what you have done so far with Sports Store, what is the first model that comes to mind? What's the first one that comes to mind? We are dealing with what? This is an e-commerce product, okay? So we have product there. Okay, so we have this class, this model, that describes one product. But very quickly, we need to work with a collection of products. So what is the collection that we have created there? Controller, yeah, so let's focus here on the model only. Controller is outside here. Yes, it connects to the model, but again, it's an outside piece. Let's focus on the models. Models are the classes, the interfaces that we create under the models folder. So again, to hold the collection of products, what do we have there? iProduct repository as the interface, and then we have the concrete one, which is the fake. So we have iProduct repository that holds the. Actually, let me ask you this. What is an interface? Or better yet, what is the difference between an interface and a class?
The interface, it only contains methods.
The interface only contains methods. It can contain properties as well, okay? But there is something about methods and properties that are different, yes?
It's like a contract, so it's basically saying the class has to implement these methods or these properties.
I like the contract analogy. It's like a commitment. It's a commitment that if a class inherits from an interface, it will have to implement each and every property and method that the interface is promising. So I'll keep the question. What is the difference between an interface and a class?
The class actually implements stuff, but the interface doesn't actually implement stuff, it just tells it to do something.
And how do you call, let's say, a method that has no implementation? It's what? You were saying something, Shane, there. So how do you, what do you call a method that has no implementation? Abstract. So interfaces, they only have abstract methods, abstract properties. It does not have implementation of anything. It does have the methods, the properties, they don't have bodies, they don't have implementations. They just have, what is the name? They just have what we call the method's name, the method name, the parameters. How do you call that? It just has the methods or property signature. Signature, just a signature. Just the name, the parameters name, but it does not have any implementation in the body. Actually, there is no body for methods for properties, okay? So its interface is just a promise. Hey, if you inherit from me, you better implement this method, you better implement this property. It's a promise, okay? So we have a promise here. An iProduct repository. Our iProduct repository, what is the only thing that it's promising? It's promising just one thing. If you check your code there, if you have done the exercise, it's promising just one thing. Just to return a list of a collection of products, okay? Just to return that. Now, we have our fake repository, which inherits from iProduct repository. Our application, see, think about the big diagram that we have. Model is this little thing in the corner. The only interaction that model has is via the controller. Now, controllers, they are just aware, in our simple model here, they are just aware of two things. Controllers are aware that we have a class product and that we have an interface called iProduct repository. It doesn't know anything about what's going on here. Think of a wall here. There's a wall here for the controller. Controller cannot see beyond this, cannot see past this. It can only see up to here. So it knows about products, it knows about iProduct interface, it knows about this promise here. But it does not know, nor it cares, nor it should know what's going on here. So whether we are using fake repository or any other repository here, it's none of its business. It does not care about that.
Is that like how it always is? Like it only knows about like the interfaces and the models?
It just knows about the interface, and the interface is promising, hey, controller, I'm promising you that I'm going to give you a list of products here. But it doesn't tell controller anything about what's going on here. This is guaranteeing that we have a system that is very modular, that is not very tied together with each piece, okay? That we can interchange the source of the data easily without affecting the rest of the application, because the rest of the application does not care about what's going on here. It only cares about here. Okay? This is also called the, what's the name? Repository pattern. In coding, we have object-oriented programming, and we have a lot of different patterns. A pattern is a way to solve a problem, a repeatable problem. So this repository pattern works like that. We have an interface that is exposed to the rest of the application, and what goes behind the scenes, it's none of its business. This is the one that cares about, actually, not even this one. This one is not aware of these either. But you're gonna see. You're gonna look at the code, and you're gonna see how this all fits together. Okay? There's also a link to a video. I'm not sure if you're gonna be playing that video, but there's a link in the video in the presentation, which is posted on the Centennial. Look at that video, because it gives you a good idea of this repository pattern that I'm talking about, okay? What else we have here? Okay, so we have our fake repository. The next thing that you're gonna be doing, not right away, because I'll be walking through this code with you in a second, but you're gonna be implementing this. So we have a fake repository. The fake repository, where are the products in the fake repository? Where are they? The fake repository? Visual is the IDE that we code. When we run the application, where are those products? In the model, that's fine. Yeah, they are in the model. But then when we run it, they are part of the memory. They are in memory. They are just in the memory of the application, okay? So they are not stored in the database. They are coming from memory. We hard-coded them, okay? So that's our fake repository. Now, we're going to be also creating a real repository. I would say a real, because fake is not, I mean, it's just a name. This is as real as this one. But this one, the products will be stored in a database outside. And this one, it's just hard-coded. Okay? But the rest of the application only knows about this. Now, I'm going to open source code a little bit here so we can try to follow through. Okay. Let's see here. Sports store. So the source code, this that I'm going to show, is already available in Centennial. I just want to show you a few modifications that I did under source codes. So under source codes, I've created a link or a section called Student System. There you can see all the steps of the student's code. And then for each chapter that you go through for Sports Store, I'll have a link here. And the source code will be added here. So if you want to follow through, and you don't need to do this right away because you don't need it right now, but you can download the source codes of step number 4 right from here. Remember, when I say step 4, step 5, step 6, this is cumulative, okay? So if you download the source of step 6, it has all the source from step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, it's cumulative. Okay, so let's have a look at the source code here. First, let's look at our interface. So here we have our product repository with only one what? What is this? Is this a method, a function, a private field, a property? What is that? So it's a? Okay, it has a get, yeah. But because of that, what can we assume that, what can we say that this is? What is products? I'll go through it. It's a method, a function, a property, a private field. What is that? What type of structure has gets and sets? Property. Okay? So, but this one here in particular, is it read and write, write only, read only? What type of property is this one? It's a read only because it does not have a set. So it doesn't have a set, it has only a get, so it's a read only. You can only read from it. You don't make changes. Now, let's look at this part here. So far, which types of collections have we gone through? Just give me a few classes, interfaces that we have used in this course so far. INumerable we have used. INumerable is an interface. Any concrete class that we have used to hold data? Lists. So we have list and INumerable. That's fine. Now, we also have this thing here called iQueryable. iQueryable is yet another collection that actually inherits from INumerable. So, why am I using that now? I mean, can't we just use INumerable, that's it? We could. However, there is a difference between INumerable and iQueryable. Otherwise, they will not exist. Both of them will not exist. So, I'm going to describe in general terms. And now I'll be talking a little bit about database because it impacts database. So if we have a collection of products and we want to say, hey, give me only the products that cost more than $20. First of all, if we remember link, which method of link I would be using to do this kind of filtering? The where. So where is the method of link that I can filter data. Okay? So I would use where. Now, in one case, and that's where the difference is. In one case, it will, if I do that exactly, the products, I want to filter products. In one case, it would bring all products to memory, and in memory, in the RAM memory of the server, it would do the filtering. So it would say, okay, get rid of the products that are less expensive than $20 in memory. Now, the other option would go to the database, would bring back only the products that fit the criteria. So again, the first one brings all products and filters in memory. The second one brings only the products that fit the bill, that are more expensive than $20. Which one do you think is more effective? It's more performs better, that there's a better performance. The first one that brings everything, or the second one that brings only whatever it really needs? The second one. Second one, because imagine this. We have 1,000 products, and we just want the ones, more expensive than 20, and we bring all of them in memory. This is not very smart. And that's where the difference between INumerable and iQueryable lies. When we are using database, INumerable will bring everything to memory. iQueryable will bring only what we are asking for. That's why we are now also using iQueryable. Now, is it always more effective to use iQueryable than INumerable? Well, not always. Sometimes we want all products. But when we are doing filtering, iQueryable is more efficient. You're going to see iQueryable and INumerable being used very much interchangeably. Okay? Sometimes you see one, sometimes you see the other one. Great. A lot of talking here. We have a product property, products. It returns the list of products, but there's no implementation. So as I said, interface has no implementation. It's not concrete. It's just the promise. any class that inherits from my product will have to return a product's property. Now, let's explore the fake products repository. Here, just here alone, we have two. Remember our class about C# essentials? Here we have the use of lambda syntax and the use of data of collection initialization. Okay, we have the use of both. Here we can use lambda because this is a read-only property. Okay, if this property was a read and write, lambda could not be used here, and we would have to use a get and a set if we had both of them. But again, this is lambda is a simpler alternative to use get then return. Okay. So we are using a lambda syntax to create a list of products. Right away, we are initializing the list with new products, and we are initializing some of the properties of our products. Okay. Now, list is not iQueryable. That's why at the end here, I'm converting this list to a queryable of products, because otherwise they would not be compatible. Okay? Don't worry too much about that, but this is just to make sure that this becomes compatible with the iQueryable. Now, this is hard-coded, okay? We're not going to be using much of that. Well, actually, we may use a little bit. Let me stop talking for a second, catch my breath, and ask the questions. I told you that you'd be here and there staring at the board, not knowing what to ask.
I don't know though,
As queryable. Okay, so as I just mentioned, this is just a way to convert the list of products to a type that is compatible with the iQueryable, because list of products, list does not inherit from iQueryable, so you cannot simply initialize like this. iQueryable is an interface. List does not inherit from it, so we cannot just say this. We have to use this method. Yeah, we have to use this method to convert the list to something that is compatible with the iQueryable. That's really just that. I mean, don't overstress on this line here. This just makes list compatible with iQueryable. That's it. Yep.
Okay. So what exactly is the iQueryable doing that the list wouldn't be able to do?
Right here, nothing. Right here, to be quite honest, nothing. Aside from the fact that I cannot use a list because the interface is used in iQueryable. Now, I could change the interface and use list here. But if I change the interface to use a list here, our future Entity Framework product repository would have to use a list as well, which is not efficient, which is not that efficient as compared to iQueryable. Because in our Entity Framework products, we're going to be accessing the database. So it's better from the get-go to use something that will work for fixed lists, but will work better for database interactions. Yes.
We always use the iQueryable and the IURL, but I don't know exactly what it's doing.
What they are doing?
Yeah.
Okay, they're expecting a collection. Now, what type of collections will come? Well, a lot of time it's a list. A lot of times it's and I have mentioned this a little bit about lists and IEnumerable. IEnumerable is just the higher level, not level, I would say, the higher interface in the collection stack. So it's a very generic collection interface. Yep. Okay, so so what? Now we have the interface of product, we have the fake product repository. Let me show you the controller. Let's have a look at the controller, because as I promised to you, we have the controller here that knows those guys, but does not know anything beyond that. Let's have a look at the controller. So what is it that we have here? We have a private iProduct repository. That's how the controller can talk to the data repository. We have to declare an iProduct repository. I said, controllers, they know about the iProduct repository. And it knows right here. What is this? Who can tell me what this is? Is this a method, a property, a function? What is this? Is a constructor. How do you know that? Because it's the same name as the class. What else? That's not the only reason.
It's assigned to a property?
There's no return. There's no return value. There's no return type, not even voids. So two things that tells me that this is a constructor. The name is the same as the class, and there's no return type. Okay? Now, look at this. So our controller, let me ask you this. Does our controller knows about the fake repository? Because this is the entire code. Does it know about the fake repository? It knows only about what? The iProduct repository. However, iProduct repository is an interface. Has no implementation. So something else must tell our controller, our product controller, which concrete class are you going to use? Because I cannot use the iProduct repository directly. I cannot call products from it. I need to use a concrete class that comes from it. Now, if you did the exercise, take a wild guess how it figures that out. It's not here. I can tell you it's not here in this file, in the control itself. Somewhere else, we are telling it what to use if you need an iProduct repository. Anywhere else in the code that you may have seen the iProduct repository being used with the fake repository? Anywhere else? If you've done the exercise, you should know that. In the startup. So let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at the startup. So here we have that. So what is this doing here? This is the only place in the code, and this is not control, okay? This is just a startup class. Think about a startup in program as the plumbing of your application. Those are the initial configurations. I mean, look at this. It's called configure. Those are configuration aspects of your application. So this is the only place in the codes that says, if you need an iProduct repository, I'm going to give you a fake product repository. This is the only place in the code that this match happens. In the future, if you need to change the repository, you can come to this one single line and change it here. When we go and implement this repository here, we'll just come back to this line and change fake to EF, Entity Framework. So it can use the Entity Framework repository, not the fake one anymore. Okay, I'll give you a second for things to settle down, for the knowledge to be absorbed. what's I would say a natural question that you would have here? Lots of people had that question. Again, I'm saying that whenever, when is this whenever? Well, when the product controller gets created, MVC itself, behind the scenes, we don't see that happening. There's a lot that goes on with MVC that we don't see in the code here. It's happening behind the scenes. When the product controller gets created, a concrete version of the repository, a concrete, in our case, fake repository, gets sent inside and gets assigned to the repository here. So our repository becomes the fake repository. And then from the fake repository, you can say, hey, give me all the products. But again, we are just referencing a generic iProduct that gets set to a concrete one when it comes down here. Let me tell you, if you get this, you are, I would say, 50% of this course done. Because you know what is it that I just described? Actually, let me throw back. This process of this mapping here, see, in memory, what happens is that MVC keeps a table, a little table that says, oh, they need an iFactor class. Which models, which classes are inherit from it? Oh, those are the classes. But which one is it that I need to use when they ask me for an iProduct repository? Which one? Oh, this makes the relationship. It says, if you need an iProduct repository, I'll give you a fake repository. Let me run this code here. I'll show this. Just to see if we can absorb, assimilate this a little bit better. Okay, so this is our fake set of products, correct? Do you recognize them? Okay, it's working fine. That's what I was expecting. Now, I'm going to comment this code here. I didn't change much. I just changed that line of code there. Let's have a look. See what happens? Let's read. Again, very important to read error message because the error message is telling you what's wrong. Okay? So read them. Don't be afraid of them. Okay? Unable to resolve service for type iProduct repository while attempt to activate product controller. If you pay attention to that error message, all will make sense. First, let me step back for a second and explain one thing. You see the URL? It has no parameters, correct? So I should be seeing here the default what? Let's recall some of what you have seen. What's the name of the default controller? Home. What's the name of the default controller? The default controller? What's the name of the default? I'm not crazy yet. What's the name of the default controller? Home, 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 home. Default controller is home. Default action, index. Okay? Now, we have neither of them. We have product controller and we have list. List is the only action here. So I'm not going to go in details on that, but just keep in mind that you can customize the default controller and the default action as well, okay? We're going to see that more in our next class. But here I'm saying, no, don't use home as the default. Use products. Don't use list as the default. Use, oh, sorry, not list. Don't use index as the default. Use list, okay? So you can change that. In any case, let's go back here to our error message. It's saying that, hey, I'm trying to load the product controller. And when I tried that, when it tries to create the product controller, because our page is trying to access product controller, and it tries, if it's the first time, it tries to create the product controller. But the constructor of our product controller expects this to be given to it. But we're not given that anymore, because we get rid of that line. So it comes here, it says, okay, I'm trying to create a controller, but you didn't tell me which repository to use. How can I create that if you don't tell me which is the one that I should be using? That's what that add transient in the startup. That's what this is doing. It's saying, whenever the application needs an iProduct repository, give to it this one here, a fake product repository. That's why it breaks the codes. That's why things are no longer working fine. Blank faces. That's okay, all good. Let's keep moving forward. I get that, I accept that. But we keep moving forward. Because as we go through, this will, as you practice, let me tell you, this was hard for me. It was hard for me. I could not grasp this. Go ahead, Shane.
So as long as your repository is inheriting from the interface, then you can use an add transient page?
Yes. To create an entry in the memory of MVC that says, oh, do I have an entry here for iProduct repository? Yeah, okay, so which concrete one is being used? Oh, it's a fake one. Okay, great, gave a fake one. Oh, now we're gonna have a second one, which is the EF product repository. Now again, once we're done with that one, we just come here and change this. And all of a sudden, our application starts to use this one instead of this. That's how easy it becomes. Okay? Now, what I just described with this add transients, it's what is called, again, you're going to hear this name, and if it's one of the concepts I want you to leave this course knowing, which was hard for me to get to understand. It was, but it's called dependency injection. This is called dependency injection. If you get a hang of that, you are light years ahead of most developers out there. Talking about developers, today in the morning, I interviewed one for the blog thing, the podcast thing that I keep sending to you. Guess what he works with? C#, MVC, Angular in the front end, but we don't care about front end in this course. But again, he's worked with this. He's worked with this, right? And he was not the first one, nor the only one that I interviewed that is working with this in C#. Again, you are studying what the market, the industry is asking for, okay? This is it. This is not theoretical stuff that you're never going to touch again. You may touch this again when you get your first job, you know? Anyway, this is the one of the key things that we're gonna take away from this class. Let's have 5 minutes. Once we come back, we're gonna go downloads step number 4. If you have step number 4 done already, you can use yours, or you can download this. But we're gonna jump to part 5 of the videos. You're gonna go through the video on part 5. It's a 15 minutes video. However, you're gonna need 50 minutes to go through that video, because I know that. If you finish before, that's fine, you can keep moving forward, but let's have the next 50 minutes to work on that. I'll be walking around, I'll be assisting you, I'll be helping you to get that done. Once you are done with the 50 minutes, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna walk you through that code that you just did. But I don't want to walk you through before you give it a try first, because then you're gonna have your questions and it will be a better experience for everybody. So again, 5 minutes, we're gonna come back, we're gonna go to part 5 here.
That's why it didn't make sense.
What is that?
I watched the chapter 9 video instead of 8.
Oh, you went straight to chapter 9?
I watched the chapter 9 video instead of 8, so when I was watching it, I thought, I must have missed something really big. And so I thought it was me just jumping in. I was wondering why, and I go, is this so that explains so much now.
Sir, I feel like to ask a question.
Yeah, let me just get this done. Okay, go ahead.
So for
The code there? Yep.
I just don't understand the transient
Yep.
about this line.
Yep. Okay, so this line, again, forget about, don't get hooked up in the details of the syntax and its saying angle. Don't get hooked up in the minor details. Just know this. This is adding a reference in the memory of the application that says, if the application needs an product repository, I'm going to give back a fake product repository. Because product repository is abstract. It doesn't have implementation. So what this says is that if you need this guy, give it this guy.
So we will provide the fake one,
Where?
the fake product repository, and we offer this to the system,
Yes.
and it return the
Yes.
product
Because
to us.
if you go to the controller is only making a reference to product repository. Let me ask you that. Who's going to create product repository? Who's creating that? This is a constructor. So if it's a constructor, somebody must be creating that. Who's that somebody?
It's the data.
It's the MVC framework. The MVC framework, when we call the URL and it tries to access product controller, it needs to create a product controller for you. When MVC creates the product controller, it needs to give an iProduct repository. Oh, but iProduct repository is an interface.
Yeah.
So I cannot use it directly. I need a concrete class. Which concrete class is that one? The fake product repository. So a fake product repository is sent over, it's set to this repository, and now we can call list that returns the list of products, which is concrete now, because we gave it products, fake product repository.
I tried it for this.
I've got some questions about the assignment.
Okay,
I've got
okay,
some questions, actually.
that's fine.
Okay, first about the review, like the review page, like
Yes.
the review. How dynamic does that have to be? Like,
Not dynamic at all.
so for example, we could just say, like write a review, press add, and nothing happens. Is that okay?
It should go at least to where it was before. Like, let me ask you this. How did you get to write a review? How did you get to it? From where?
Oh, from like maybe from the home page. There's like a.
Okay, so get back to that. So when you submit, get back to that. Go back there.
So as long as it does that, that's fine.
That's fine.
It doesn't have to actually
Save it.
save it. That's fine. Okay. Okay. The other question was the index page. I called it home actually.
Okay.
Home.view. Is it fine?
It's fine. It's fine. But remember that you're gonna have to have unless you mess around with routing, you're gonna have to have an index action. So your index action might be calling the home view. That's fine. You just have to remember to call it with the name, by the name, because if you don't have an index view, you have to call it explicit. You're gonna say, hey, give me the home view.
Oh, I see. So it should be okay as long as I do that.
Yep.
Okay. The other thing is that on like you said many times to have like the navigation to all the pages. Should we have navigation to every page on every page? So on every page it should have access to every page.
It's a good idea. Now,
It's
when,
necessary. Though, isn't it?
not necessarily, but it is a common practice to have a constant navigation available to the system. Now, in your main navigation, do you have a view recipe?
No.
No, because view recipe
Part of the list.
is part of the list. So when you are looking at the list, you click on one, you go to the view. Great.
And similarly, add a review would not be on the home page.
Exactly.
Okay, so-
At a review, you need to be in context. What is the context? Well, I should be looking at a recipe, or maybe in my list of recipes, I have add review at the end of the recipe. But again, we're not saving any of that yet. It's just static.
So we need all the review or not?
Oh, you mean if we need to?
We need to put the user input the review or just put only
Oh,
there?
it doesn't need
Well, you need to have some input because view adds review, or I don't recall on top of my head what is the name. It's a little form that we're not going to save, but you have a submit button that should submit the information and not saved, but should go somewhere.
So I don't want to save, just have the table like something.
Yes.
To,
Like review. What is the review? Well, maybe there's a comment box. There is a drop down with 4 stars, 5 stars, 1 star, something like that. So what is it?
you need some button, yeah.
The review?
To have a review where in the list of recipes.
No, the review page.
The review.
Yeah. We need the submit button or something. Just
Yeah, okay, put submit button just so you can submit. Don't save the information, but goes back to where it was. How did you get to the review view? Is that from where? From the details? From the click in the list? I mean, how did you get to it? From where?
view.
From view. Okay, so when you click submit, go back to the view. Go back to where you were before. Okay?
I have one more question. Can we add extra views, for example, like the thank you type view? Like when you press add a recipe, it says successful. Are we allowed to add that?
That's okay.
Like an extra view?
Yep, that's okay. Okay?
That's all the question.
You guys make me all worried about this now. Because I know it says only up to week 2, so it's all basically making sure that our views are properly changing. We have a grade on this, and I keep thinking to myself, gotta add more, gotta add.
It's again just about navigation, mostly about navigation.
That's what I figured. But when I see everyone worried and asking me, I'm like, I missed a bunch, didn't I?
Okay, so let's get. I'm just going to recap here. What is it that we're going to be doing? Use this source code to start on step number 5. Go through number 5 individually or in groups. It's up to you. I'll be walking around answering your questions, and then in 50 minutes we're going to stop, and I will walk you through what is supposed to be done to create the entity framework product repository and make it work in the system, okay? Create the database. Again, lots of little steps here that we're going to go through, but we're going to go through it. I'll keep this one here open because this is a minor difference between the video and what we're doing. Is when you go to this disable scope verification, your code needs to look like this, not to what it's been shown in the video, because the video was based on 2.0 and we are using 2.1 of the framework, so it should look like this. You're going to see there, once you get there and you start to try it, you're going to figure out that, oh, it's using something a little bit different, okay? So you can use that when time is right. Sure? Let me just put the little timer here and we start counting this. Okay, go ahead.
For the add recipe, that page,
The add recipe for the assignment.
yeah, do we have to actually store the data?
No.
Just
Just have the form and you can submit. You click submit, you go back to where you were before. Let's say if you came from the home page, go back to the home page.
yeah, we don't need to store in
No.
menu or anything.
No, that's assignment 2.
Okay, got it.
Okay?
Just to clarify, you said just 2.5, or what part did you say?
Two point,
I looked away for a
Step 5. Step 5.
Just 5.
Yeah, just step 5. Go to step 5. Step 4 source code is available. You can download and go from there.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss a number again.
Step 5 of chapter 8.
I just downloaded the source code from EasyDL and it isn't opening.
Okay, let's have a look. Okay, click OK there. Okay, let's give it a try, but I think that this is one of the computers that has a problem. And I think I reported it already. But yeah, try to click new there. Go to, let's see here. So, it's not even showing here.
No,
Cancel there.
it isn't installed.
Cancel. Let's go there again, new project. See, yeah, it's not even there. It's not even
I
there.
didn't check.
Actually, cancel this. Let's try something a little bit different here.
Sure.
Cancel, close it. Let's open from the link here. Start, and then let's go here. Okay, try to file new.
Project?
Yeah. Okay, this is a little bit different. So let's go web here. Click web. No, scroll down. Scroll all the way down. Scroll up again. Just change framework here. Actually, oh, I don't think that's .NET Core is installed here. It's just showing .NET Framework. I'm gonna check if I have reported this. I think I reported this computer already, but I'll check. You may want just to find another one. See what kind of complex systems you can put together? You should convert that to MVC. Maybe I'm gonna take that model and ask you guys to convert that to MVC. You know? Great idea. I love that idea.
Oh, is it?
Thank you for that.
Okay,
Tell
so
me.
I have a question. So I have all the views that you have asked at the top of every particular view. Is that okay? Or
Oh, okay, so do we have view recipe?
yeah, view recipe.
Okay.
I have a question as well.
Okay, so hold on there. So, which recipe are you viewing?
So the ones in the recipe list, but I'm not able to link these recipes to that
Okay.
particular view.
Okay, so let's go one step at a time here. So let's first understand what is view recipe. Have you done any Amazon shopping? Checkout. When you're doing the checkout, do you see the list of products that you bought?
Yeah,
Okay. When you click in a product, what happens?
it displays the description of the product.
What else? It displays everything about the product.
Everything about the
That's what you're doing here. When you click in a recipe, you display everything about that recipe. So view recipe is about one single recipe. It's about now you don't need to do dynamic stuff.
So is it okay if I have all the links to just one recipe? So if I
Yes,
have
yes,
the
yes,
full
yes.
recipe-
You got it.
Okay.
One single hard-coded recipe.
I
So
don't
you
have
click
the
you click
whole
spaghetti there, it shows a chicken. You click the pork, it shows a chicken.
recipe. So,
You click
okay.
the beans, it shows a
So
chicken.
just one thing in view recipes. But still, I'm not able to link the list of my recipes.
You can hard code it.
You can hard code. You can hard code
You
the.
can create a form.
Well, don't hard. Actually, you don't need to necessarily hard code, but link the list the let's say the recipe name. Build a link tag that has href, or actually you can use the ASP.
ASP, yeah, I did, but it's showing error.
Okay, so show me. Okay, but don't use the select. I mean, see this recipe lists. Where are recipe list? Okay, the recipe list should be a table that I see all the recipes there. It should not be a drop down.
It should be a table?
An HTML table that lists all the recipes, and I can say chicken. I can click there, and I can go to the view recipe. That shows again the hard-coded spaghetti there. Doesn't matter. So it should be a HTML table. Okay. Okay? Yep.
The fifth video, yes, I understand. But as I check it, there are lots of classes that are not inside the project. For example, all these components, navigation menu, I have created by my server now. But as I understand, is not here.
Okay, so what's the question again? I'm not following.
Fifth video.
Fifth video, okay.
Yeah, but in the video, there are lots of classes that are not created in
Oh.
the project that you sent.
In Sports 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, here is components, navigation menu, but when I open it...
Okay, let me see one thing here. Can you go to the home that shows this video?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, this is store 9. You are looking at 9. I'm talking about 8. Everyone, we are talking about Sports Store chapter 8, okay? It's not chapter 9, okay? I'm saying that because I've seen a few people confusing that already, okay? So again, Sports Store 8. The link is available on Centennial. So you can see under, what you see under week 5 is the next set for week 6. I'm going to go through that. I'm going to show you that later today, okay? So you have to go through chapter 8, week 4. Here is the link, okay? I'll post the link on Padlet as well, just in case. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick attendance here. Ari? Alessandra? Arshdeep? Arthur? Carmelo? Charles? Dasson? Dimitro? Frank? Hassan? Yep. Hui Hong Tran. Johnny. Isaac. James. Joshan. Yeah, got it. Okay. Min. John Min. Lascelles. Luis. Muscan. Nayu. Rene. Rohan. Shane. Stephen. Sunil. Tangila. Tiao Kwang. Chao Jing. Chao Jing. Yang. Yang King. If I did not call your name, let me know. Bless you. Dimitri, how are you doing your Visual Studio? That problem, how is that going?
To be honest, I'm just stopped to doing something.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just coming.
Did you try to reinstall?
Yeah, I've tried to reinstall. I've tried to download whatever I can. I've tried to download Community and Enterprise version.
And then always you are not.
Every time the same problem.
So the problem is that it doesn't show.
Empty. Yeah, it doesn't show anything.
Did you make sure that you added .NET Core 2.
Yes.
Is it added?
Yes, I download the 2.0, the 2.1, all the NetCore versions, and every time it's not showing.
Yeah, yeah. Unless there's something wrong with the computer, otherwise you.
I've tried to go to the service over here, and
Yep.
they also stopped.
But also they saw, but
Yeah,
they
saw,
couldn't.
but they didn't know what to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Too bad.
Maybe I'll try to find some service outside of the campus, somewhere, sometime, and then they will fix it. Because, for example, when I try to create a console application,
Yep.
it works.
It works.
Yeah. but the web application is unfortunately.
Maybe try VS 2019. Try another version because what we're doing is compatible with that as well. Give it a try on 2019 then. That's the only thing I can recommend.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
Here is kind of different.
Yeah. So that's what I'm showing there. So use this line here. That's it. So based on that, not on the video, if you use that as a reference, just make the change here.
Okay.
That's it. Okay?
So yours is using the command line part, right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting a weird symbol.
So you want to change the drive? You want to go to C?
I'm getting this symbol instead of the
Yeah. So do you want to move? So move to the drive to C drive. So don't do CD. Get rid of it. C column. Enter. Yep. Then you can move around.
That's doing that. Wow, that's
Okay. Now, for some reason, it's using that symbol instead of the slash, but it should work.
thank you.
Okay.
I thought it was a language setting that I had to change.
Okay. Semicolon. See? Semicolon. This is one list of calls, so you have a semicolon there left.
Okay.
That should be in the last line. What's up?
I realized the program CS here is different from
Yeah, so in that should be this line here. That's what why I kept that open.
Okay.
This should be the line, okay?
Okay, cool.
Because this is for 2.0 and we're using 2.1.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. What's up?
Line doesn't show the application DB.
Okay, application DB. Where is it? Where is application DB? Oh, it's not there. It's there, but it's not here.
Yeah.
video doesn't have here behavior.
Oh, look. This is about that. This, because the video is based on 2.0, and we are basing our code in 2.1, .NET Core, so you need to use this line here instead of what the video is showing. Your code will look like this.
Okay.
And then the addition is this line.
Okay.
You're gonna line at this line. Not really. We're talking about the videos, the video on chapter 8. So go to content, and then go to week 4. That's the set, and then you go to video 5 of those steps there. Okay. If you need the source codes, it's available in Centennial. So you can start from step 4 and move to step 5 with that code that is there. Okay? Sorry. Was that the one that had the problem? Was this the one that had the problem, was it?
No, it just
Oh, it's
got
it's working now?
fixed, Yeah.
Oh,
I just open Visual Studio and open project from here.
okay,
So
good.
it started working.
Awesome.
They keep the latest line.
Okay, look at this line that you are in. There's something wrong with the line that the cursor is blinking. Look at that. Those are, you are calling this command and then you're calling that. Where the cursor is blinking, there's a little problem there. Look here and look there. This line.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay? Having problems there
Yeah.
as well?
I tried to use a PowerShell.
Yeah, so you're changing the startup. Sorry, not the startup. This is a program.
Write it as it was in the video.
Yeah, use this one here. So the video is using 2.0. We are using 2.1. So you should have originally should have this, but then you just add this last line. Yeah. Great. Build. Well, this should be. If I were you, I would just Control Z all the way in this file, because yeah, the only thing that you need to add is this line.
insert the way.
Insert?
Yeah, I have inserted already. I've changed it, and now when I've tried to enter the code like .NET, how would you call it?
.NET EF migrations.
Yes, it will show me a problem.
Okay, so first you have to make sure that your code is compiling. So go back to your code, save everything. Okay, startup is not saved here yet. Just make sure that's saved. Now you go to build, and then rebuild solution. Rebuild, the second one. So let's see if it all worked out fine. Okay, so succeeded. That's fine. So go back to the. I didn't ask for PowerShell. I don't know if it works in PowerShell. I asked for command line.
Okay.
So go to command line. It's CMD. Oh yeah, command prompt. Yeah, that's the one here. Okay. So now you have to go to this folder. Where is it?
It is it's over here.
Yeah. Okay. It may not. So hit enter. Hit enter. Okay. So go first to the C drive. So put it as C semicolon. Sorry, colon C colon. And hit enter. Then you are in C now. Now you can do CD, whatever. Yeah, CD and then that. Get rid of that. CD.
CD.
Like change directory space. And then the pull path, the whole path. Well, if you put up.
Yeah, okay.
C column, then go. Now you're in the folder. Now you run the commands.
Okay.
.NET EF space yet. .NET space EF space. I think it's migrations. Migration space add space, and then the initial, just a name. Yeah, hit enter. Okay, so there's a problem here. Usually that problem means that the connection string that you use in the startup is a little bit different from the one that you add in the app settings. So let's have a look at that. Go to app settings here. App settings. Okay, so sports store, that's fine. So let's look at the startup. Okay, so make sure that this is properly spelled out. Compare with that. Make sure that everything is pristine there. Yeah, just have a look there and see if see. It's called connection string. You see, connection string. You put connection there. No problem. What's up? No problem.
So it's showing this one.
Okay, so try to compile the project. Go to your Visual Studio. So one, make sure that it's saved. You see, there are things that are not saved here.
Yeah.
So make sure that everything is saved. Now recompile. Go to build,
Okay.
and then, oh, sorry.
So
Click there again.
where?
Build,
Okay.
and then go to rebuild solution, the second one. So let's see if it will, let's see if we have to wait for the success message. Okay, great. Now go back to the folder, to the command line, and hit page up. Okay, so hit enter again, and then. Okay, you have to go to the folder of the project. You are not in the folder of the project yet, so you have to get the location. Yep. What is that?
Is this one?
Yes. You can copy. You can click inside. Yep. just do CD, space, and then paste. Well, you have to move to the F drive first. So, but F column, just letter F, column, the 2 dots.
Sorry, what do you mean?
The 2 dots here,
Oh,
column.
okay, colon. All right.
Yeah. So hit enter. So now you are in the F drive. I guess that you are already in the correct folder. So just page up, page up, page up, again, again. There you go. Just hit enter. Page up, you can recall the last command that you put. Okay? So it makes it easy. It's processing. Just hold on a second there.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Okay. If you are trying to run the migration scripts, the command line, and if you are having problems, one, make sure that the solution is completely saved, okay? And two, make sure that you try to rebuild the solution just to make sure that there are no errors, okay? Save everything, rebuild the solution, and then run the command line. It should work if everything is okay. Yep. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Compile the code. You see, you have things that are not saved. It's not saved, it's not saved, you see here. I said save it all, save everything, rebuild, go to build.
Build?
Yeah, build. Click there, rebuild solution. Second option.
Second option.
That's okay. Wait for the success message down there. Still processing, I think. Okay, so so that should be fine. Go back to the command line. Hit page up on the up arrow in your keyboard. The up, yep. Then hit again. Okay, so there is a problem, see, with the connection string. So check your connection string. Check in under, scroll down. Yeah, go to app settings. Yeah, app settings. The third from top to bottom, from bottom to top. App settings.json. App settings.json.
Oh, here, okay.
You have to make sure that this is spelled correctly in the startup class. Startup. That this is correct here. There must be a misspelling. I can see already where there's a misspelling. So there is a misspelling there. Date, it's data. But I don't know if this is the only one. But again, make sure that you save and recompile. What's up? That's awesome. Awesome. Great. So if you want to move forward to 6, that's fine. If not, just hold on. And in 8 minutes, we go for a break. Once we come back, I'll walk you through what's going on there.
So we're gonna. I got it. So we're gonna take a break after this.
Yeah, just as soon as we're done with the 8 minutes, we're going to take our 10 minutes. Then once we come back, I will walk through pretty much line by line, explain what's going on. Okay? Okay, it's okay. Yep. Okay, so let's see the command line. Okay, rebuild fail. So go back to your application here, then rebuilds. Go to debug, rebuild. Okay, so you have the folder open. You don't have the solution open. Close Visual Studio. Open it again. And this time let's go File, Open, and then Project Solution. Don't open the folder. Project Solution. Then look where it starts. Okay. Yep. Well, the message might have been important, but that's okay. Okay, try to recompile it. Build, rebuild, second option, yeah. Okay, so there's a problem. You have to fix that before you can. Don't click that link, it will show a help. Sorry. No problem. Click the error message. Double click there. Okay, there's something wrong there. It should be like this. Look. It should be like this. Okay.
Yeah, I ended.
Can I just ask you a question about the assignment?
Yep, sure.
Because it says like to have correct implementation of classes like constructors and all that.
Yeah, this is a generic message, to be honest. So
If I don't have a constructor, it's okay.
that's okay.
Okay, because I just feel like I've put all the instructions in here, so this is like a very very big string, right?
No,
So if you put that in the
well,
constructor,
that's okay. That's okay. That message there is just a generic. Make sure that things are.
if you need one, then
Yeah.
put it.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Step at the database part.
Sorry. Can you say it again?
Like after this one,
Yeah. If you're done with that, it's fine. We have just 3 minutes to go. Then you go for a 10 minutes break, and then once you come back, I'll be explaining step by step of what you have done.
Yes.
So if you want to move forward for step 6, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to you. Okay, but you don't have to read.
But the problem is I cannot run. Like,
Oh, because you have the Mac. Is that because the Mac?
I think so.
Yeah, you have parallels. Do you have parallels, or you are running?
Like,
Yeah,
I
you won't
tried
be.
to do it like you said, the terminal, but
It won't.
It won't
No,
work.
it won't. In framework will not in framework. It doesn't have local DB, so it's yeah. I think I mentioned to you that at some point you're gonna get stuck with. That's the point. We got to the point.
I didn't know that it was be so soon.
Yeah, because right now we're gonna be using database for pretty much everything. So it might become a challenge.
But when I try to open the file, your file onto this
So,
computer, it's,
Both of them?
yeah, it didn't work.
Okay, so let's open them, and then you can try again. But we have to find another one for you to use it. Give it a try, and let me know once you give it a try.
I was wondering what
Yep.
happened here.
Okay, so go back to the project.
Uh-huh.
I see files that are not saved yet. I see 2 files not saved.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first thing. Second thing is build, go to build,
Mm-hmm.
rebuild solution.
Rebuild solution.
Just make sure that it's running properly, because if
Okay.
if it's not compiling, then it won't work.
Okay.
Okay, so it is, you see, it is good. Once succeeded, so hit page up.
Page.
Yeah, like the arrow. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, and
Sorry, are you in the correct folder? Is that where the solution is? Well, I think you were there.
oh, I closed it.
You closed it.
Whoops.
That's okay.
CMD. Okay. So I have to change first, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it worked. And I have to.
Now you have to get .NET.
Yes.
.NET space EF space migrations space adds migrations initial. That's fine. Hit enter. Just that's all good.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
Thanks.
So I have
List of
to-
recipes.
And then click here to view recipe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just see.
I'll create the lines and everything for that.
Okay, so is that in the table? Inside the
Yeah,
table?
that's on the table.
Okay, so click here to view recipe. Okay.
Okay. And then you take to view recipes.
Okay, so view recipe is showing one recipe or many recipes?
Just one recipe. I'll
No,
delete all of these recipes.
Okay,
Because
so
you asked that all
yeah.
of the recipes.
Make sure that has it, because I don't see any styling.
Yeah, I will do this.
You got
styling. Yeah.
any images as well.
Yeah, I will do this.
Okay.
styling.
Other than that, looks
Just
fine.
one more question. That I have all these 4 tags in all my views. Is it okay, or do I need to remove any of
Okay,
the tags?
so let me ask you this. So which tags do you have
All
there?
the-
So
all the views, the
all the
tag
views.
recipe.
So does it make sense to have view recipe at the top?
So I should remove just view recipe.
Again, I'm asking you. Does it make sense to have view recipe?
No, the view
Because you don't know which. I click
View
there, I
recipe.
see a recipe. Which recipe is that
View
one?
recipe
Because I
should
didn't
only
select.
be in the recipe list view.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And also, you have review there.
Yeah.
Click review.
All the recipes listed in the review.
Okay. Can I see the drop down? Okay. The idea is that you view a recipe and you can review the recipe. You can click a link that says review
I
recipe.
should remove review recipe from all the other views except view. So the view recipe should only be in, when I view the recipe, only then I can review.
Yeah, it could have a button there.
It should only be in the view recipe
Yeah.
view.
I would say so,
Okay.
because then again, think about what makes sense.
Yeah.
Think about your experience with websites. Think about when you shop, when you do a review of an Amazon product, you go to that product and you do the review there. Now, again, we don't need to follow exactly what they're doing, but you can view the recipe. Oh, I can review it. I click review, and then I can add the comments that you are doing.
So, but all my views should have the home page.
It should have a common navigation.
Okay.
Should have a common
Okay.
navigation. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so let's do this. Our time is up. Let's go for a 10 minutes break. And then once we come back, I will step you through the code of what we had to implement, and I'll explain you through that, okay? So we are back in 10 minutes.